There's a really extensive saga of how many times and in how many different ways the Handmaid's Dianetics, the satire that I started developing in 2017, was targeted with so many different forms of sabotage and black ops activity that suggests involvement of the Church of Scientology, involvement of other mixed interest power brokers, involvement of organized crime, possibly corrupt law enforcement or government intelligence. But the very short form account of ways in which I have been made to worry that there was some contingency to try to like unalive me and frame it as a suicide involve an incident that happened junior year of my time at Tisch School of the Arts when I was rehearsing for the Crucible. And basically I got cast off backstage from this project that I worry was planted there to like intercept me, because anyone who may have been spying on me by like the church or someone would have like known that I applied to every backstage project at that time and just like posted something to intercept me. It was this guy in New Jersey, in his like late 30s, early 40s, and his girlfriend with like a nice camera, who allegedly had gone to NYU and were shooting this project, and the whole project was a 15-minute solo performance on camera of this character delivering like a video suicide note, and they were going to enter it into Tribeca, and so I got cast in this role for like $50. So I was just memorizing and performing this very long monologue that was a suicide note delivered to the camera. And I was going and filming it with this guy in between like school and classes and rehearsals for the Crucible. So I would go to his apartment in New Jersey where he and his girlfriend were filming this. And so we filmed for like, a few weeks. And then all of a sudden he just ghosted. He didn't explain anything. He didn't contact me. He didn't say, hey, I'm casting someone else. He didn't say, hey, the project isn't ready. I need to do some rewrites. He didn't say anything. I never saw the project surface at a later date. And now, years later, that I'm blatantly getting targeted by a black ops, I'm like, oh my God, what if this guy just captured me delivering like this suicide note for this role I was cast in to save for later and like spread some rumor that it was actually me, like leaving a real like suicide video so that I could be like falsely, portrayed as suicidal if they like wanted to kill me, or if they like wanted to try to like harass me into like ending my own life or something like that. Like, like they did to that couple in the Golden Suicides in Vanity Fair, which I would never do, because I have access to all this journalism where I know that is like what's happening to people, so I know how to externalize that kind of psychological warfare. But another thing that happened, series of events that happened in 2016 through 2018, when I was working on the Handmaid's Dianetics at this apartment in Ditmas, is that I think a couple of my friends got fed like a false rumor mill of me being like a danger to myself, possibly by like Scientology spies who infiltrated my circles of friends. And one called a random wellness check on me when I like wasn't even home, and I was like literally posting like regular photos of me going to rehearsal and stuff, and it was just so random. Another called a suicide ambulance on me the night before I had a writer's deadline due, And I think they, like, some material in like a satire I wrote did reference suicidal ideation, like in a newsletter that I had like sent out, but it was like a published satire on a different website. It was not written like a coded, like any kind of a note. Like, it seemed like someone was feeding my longtime friends and acquaintances like a false rumor mill of me being a threat to myself. And that, like, specifically the suicide ambulance was sent to my apartment the night before I had like a writer's deadline the next day. And they basically said I had to go with them to the hospital, and I missed the deadline, and I like lost the gig because of that. And I feel like somebody like gave my friend a false like scenario of what was going on with me, just to screw over that writer's deadline. And then later on, during my time living in this apartment, the week of like my solo episode of the Handmaid's Dianetics being performed at like the Brick Theater and Planet Connections, I just had 2 random wellness checks sent to my house when I wasn't even home. Like, I was out and about all the time. I was not like lying on the floor rolling around for like days, you know, surrounded in my own filth. Like, it was like people were just harassing me with wellness checks and basically falsely giving like a false picture of what was going on with me to my closer friends, to leave like a fake record of these like wellness checks and like a suicide ambulance being sent to my apartment, maybe to create like a false paper trail of me, you know, being portrayed as, you know, like a self-harm risk, so that like someone could, I don't know, like unalive me and just like frame it as a suicide. I was definitely under a lot of distress because I was getting targeted with all these black ops harassment tactics that I didn't yet understand, but I was never, even under like extreme duress, like I was not like, you know, I wasn't like a self-harm risk. But I think about, you know, those 3 wellness checks and the suicide ambulance during that time when I was being harassed and like targeted with rumor mills by like these Scientology spies who like infiltrated my social circles. Or maybe they were hired by like the rape suspect, you know, at the center of my book, because he was like a very, you know, Hollywood power family connected, New York, possibly organized crime connected guy. And then I link it back to this random project I did junior year of Tisch, where this guy like captured footage of me delivering a suicide note for this film role, and then never finished the film and just ghosted and just has this footage. So there you go. Just, I have to put that out there in case like anyone tries to portray me as a self-harm risk as an excuse to dox me with ambulances on the night of an important deadline.